Hey everyone, today I wanted to talk about the exclusive runes priority list for the beginners. So this is not for the mid-game plus players, or like this is early to mid-game, I would say, in my opinion. So I'm going to talk about this for beginners, and I will very likely make a part 2 for the mid-game to end-game, which is, in my opinion, a bit complicated as it depends on your playstyle and it depends on your understanding of the game, of the units, and of the team building. So it's not as easy as it is for beginners. So for beginners, let's start off with the legendary priority. First off is Eudora. Eudora is after taking action, if the allied team's crit rate is greater than 200%, she will cast her Blazing Melody once, which is her ultimate, and her ultimate does 10 instances of damage. So what does this mean? In the first round, if you have Eudora with legendary exclusive runes, she's going to do her basic attack and then she's going to perform her ultimate, which is 10 instances of damage, plus 1 with the basic attack. So this is your fastest way to proc Elisha. So Eudora is Elisha's best friend. You are going to freeze very likely 3 out of 5 enemy heroes with this in the first round, and you're going to stack up Elisha's attack and make her the primary carry. On top of that, Eudora also does the damage herself, so she's not just an enabler, she's actually a DPS herself. Legendary runes usually take about 4 to 5 months of grinding, so this will be your first legendary hero to get legendary runes. And it pretty much aligns up to when you get her 8 stars, I would say. Like you do your 2 oaths or 1 oath recall for Eudora, get her from the login reward, and you're likely already at 8 stars with her. She's no longer hard to get, so you won't struggle with this. So where you can use Eudora, you can use her anywhere, any PvE. PvP, she's always been meta, so I don't think you will struggle to use her. You will likely fit her anywhere as long as you pair her with Elisha. She can be paired with Odin, Pandora, Leviathan, Ophelia, basically any hero as long as she has Elisha on her side. You can also use Astrid. Astrid allows her to use double ultimate. So in second round, if Eudora is the second fastest hero in the team, she's going to use her ultimate, then ultimate from the runes, and then ultimate from Astrid. So you can do 30 instances of damage in one round, which is pretty big. It was meta back in season 2 or season 3 or so, but it's not being used anymore because the speed is pretty hard to manipulate these days due to newest heroes having high speeds. So the next hero on the legendary list is Dahlia. Dahlia is the first hero that's recommended to be purchased for beginners up to 7 stars along with Elisha, and you want her legendary runes because you want her to have 100% chance to double the buffs she receives. This includes Pledge, and how is Dahlia played? She's mainly played with Atropos or Cleopatra in the front line, constantly swapping between each other to copy the buffs and give higher buffs to the team, and give massive buffs to Dahlia. Get away with having her an epic or a mix of 2-2. It's not a massive mistake, but it will require a good amount of RNG to hit that sweet spot in the PvE you're trying to beat. If someone beat it with legendary runes, you're going to have a lot of harder time beating it with epic runes. So my suggestion is still to chase Dahlia. There's not many heroes for beginners that actually need legendary runes. I would argue Hades, but he's not as good as Dahlia in PvE, especially not in Rift Odyssey or Celestial Trials, which if you push Celestial Trials, you're investing into getting even more legendary rune coins. So it's a pretty important rune to have, in my opinion. Maybe it's slowly fading away, but Dahlia is still very relevant, even in the end game, even in the early game. So she's my second priority. Next on the legendary rune priority list is Hades, and Hades I don't think you should get him after Dahlia. I think you should get him after your Zetian is at 2 legendary, 2 epic. Hades is usable at 2 legendary and 2 epic, but after seeing the difference between 2 and 4 legendary, I'm constantly leaning towards 4 legendary. The difference is pretty big, even though in theory it might not sound like it is, but it really is in practice. You can actually feel that. So I keep suggesting these days only to do him at 4 red, honestly. 2-2 is the worst case, but it makes him usable. It does, but 4 red really makes him a different hero and makes him a beast in PvP. But as I said, he's not a higher priority than Eudora, then Dahlia, and then Zetian. So he's like a 4th hero. 5th hero would very likely be Gaia, but she's up for the next video. So next up on the list is a mix of 2 epic and 2 legendary. I put Zetian here, and here's why. So at 4 epic, her Blessed Glory, aka Protection, has trigger chance increased to 100%. What does this mean? This means that anytime she steals a unit, that unit is going to take 100% of the damage instead of the team. So this means pretty much with her epic runes, you're going to use her in any celestial trial that requires survival, because she guarantees that. As long as she steals the hero in the first or second round, she's going to protect your team, and that's pretty big. I recommend 2-2 at the bare minimum because of the Phantom Illusion being a 35% chance. This is big both for PvP and PvE, so she's really ideal as 2-2. You can get her legendary if you want to have even higher chance, but I don't think it's necessary. I think her 2-2 is perfectly enough for both PvP and PvE, and she's truly one of the greatest heroes. She doesn't deal damage as much, but she requires higher stars for that. But in PvE, she can deal tons of damage with the Stolen Hero. So yeah, I think she's worthy of being 2-2. So next up on the list is Eudora's best friend, Elisha. She is the second or first hero I recommend to be purchased with Oracle coins up to 7 stars. She is the best PvE hero in the game alongside Pandora. She is both enabler and CC provider, support, DPS. She's basically everything in one kit. I recommend epic runes, although for PvE you can go even legendary, honestly. But 2-2 is usually the sweet spot. But I first recommend epic so you can get her started as soon as possible, and therefore get the coins back. You can evolve it later, but I don't think it's necessary, honestly. Get her epic runes and get them unique. You want the unique on her definitely all the time. You want to purify. If you don't know how to purify, check out my purifying guide. It's up. You definitely want that. And yeah, she's one of the best heroes in the game to get epics for, and you will definitely not regret it. So next up on the list is Pandora. Pandora shares the same title as Elisha, best PvE hero in the game. But yeah, you want her epic runes. I don't think this is a necessity. She ults like 6 times, I think, per round with epic runes. That's 25% chance to trigger it. It's a lot of chance. Even at 25, she's going to trigger it. Her epics are completely enough. You don't have to get 2-2 or legendary. Legendary is okay, but I don't think you should waste your resources. Better save them for other heroes. If she does the job at epic, just do the epic. Get her unique. That's the most important thing for Pandora. Get her unique runes. You can do attack, don't do dodge. Dodge is more for PvP, but I'm leaning more towards attack, and I might convert her runes to attack once I get the purifying materials. So that's my suggestion. If your uniques show up to be dodge, like mine, just take the dodge. I usually go by purifying 2x2, so then I have like 2 DPS, 2 dodge, and then I will do the dodge ones. I will purify the dodge ones to get more DPS, if that makes sense. If I get another dodge, then I will have 3 dodge, 1 DPS, then I will just purify the DPS one so I can save on purify stones. But yeah, you definitely want unique on her, and you ideally want attack runes on her, aka DPS, but if not, the dodge will do just fine. Don't stress over it. So next up on the list is Mulan. I don't think her runes are must-have. I don't think you need to get them. I think her ideal spot is actually 2-2, not full epic, but just because players don't tend to use her follow-up attacks, as far as I have seen, I suggest epic for the majority of the community. If you're someone who actually knows how to use her follow-ups, like in the protector-based teams, or Verdians, or with Wukong. Mystifiers also have double actions like Tsuki and Gaia, so her follow up is good. Her 2-2 runes are good. I will likely evolve mine or make her 2-2 because I had it on the other account. I don't have it here, but I feel the difference, and I'm definitely going to get her 2 legendary, 2 epic runes. But yeah, as I said, she's completely optional, not mandatory at all. It's just to ease up your Rift Odyssey clears and your Celestial Trials. That's about it. Next up on the list is Aphrodite, and there's only 2 reasons why this doesn't matter. She's going to trigger her ultimate round 1 like 99% of the time, so this doesn't matter. If the Phantom Illusion heroes like Aphrodite, Shang, Hades, even though he's not Phantom Illusion, and Zetian have rules, they can trigger the Phantom Illusion even if they're under the CC. Now, this might be a bug, it might not. The code is probably written that they take action, so the action, even though they didn't take the action, they're under the CC, the Phantom Illusion can trigger. So that's the main reason you want her epic runes. You can get her legendary if you want slowly over the time, but epic runes will do just fine for that simple purpose. Another purpose would be to increase her ultimate damage on her substats, because she spams ultimate all the time. You want that to increase her damage, and that's the only reason for her runes, not because of the effect, but just because of the way that Phantom Illusion is coded and because of the ultimate substats. So next up on the list is a niche tier list. I don't think you should be getting these runes unless you have a specific goal or specific reason to get them. So for example, the first one is Lamia, and I don't think you should be getting Lamia's runes unless she is absolutely mandatory to breach certain gates in Rift Odyssey, such as Nightmare 100 or Hell 100. Because there have been seasons where Lamia was one of the best DPS heroes. Like, she's still fine in the current season, but she's not mandatory. There are often seasons where Lamia's runes are mandatory to pass, and in such seasons I would suggest getting her runes. But in the current one, I'm not suggesting, because I think you can pass Rift Odyssey without it, with a bit more effort. But yeah, she's just something to keep in mind if you're a beginner for the future seasons. Her runes allow her to scale a lot, and that seasonal content works. There's a lot of ways to spam ultimates, so Lamia shines a lot there. You only need her epic runes, so don't worry about anything else. Her reds are purely for PvP, but even then she's not a hero that's used a lot, and even if she's not exceptional, so just epic runes for her will be enough. You will want 4 DPS unique. Obviously, don't do this. This is a bad example. I should probably re-roll this someday, but I don't feel like doing it because I'm not using Lamia at all, so I don't really have a reason to do that. I would use Reflect because she's 12 stars and above, but for beginners that have her at 7 stars, I would use DPS. 4 DPS rules with unique should be more than enough to secure yourself any future where Lamia might be needed again. So next up on the niche tier list is Astrid, and Astrid runes are amazing. Like, they're so unique and they work so well. Astrid was the first hero that was competent with Eudora in the terms of legendary runes. Astrid even took down Eudora from the title of Best Legendary Runes in Season 2. Everyone who had Astrid runes in Season 2 and upwards was dominating every Grey Shroom realm, which was big up then. And yeah, her runes are amazing. I had her reds on my other account, which I do not have now, and I can tell you the difference is there. You can feel it. I will get Astrid reds here someday. I do plan to, because her value keeps rising more and more. You have now seasonal content which increases speed, you have relic that increases speed, you have behemoth that increases speed, and all of these increase the overall attack of your allies if you pair them together. Behemoth is a monarch, Astrid is a monarch, Astrid isn't tied to mystifiers because of her double ultimate, because of her attack increase. So yeah, Astrid is a pretty flexible unit, similar to Gaia, and I would highly suggest getting her runes once you have some free time, in a way. Once you're done with the priority, you can get Astrid runes. She's very useful, and she's getting even more useful as Victoria is shining more in PvE. You can use Victoria Astrid Atrupus, that's like the SA combo but improved. Instead of Saraphina, you were using Victoria, so Astrid is getting more value once again, and I'm here for it. Oh yeah, as of Astrid runes, you want 4 DPS in my opinion, unique obviously. You can go dodge if you're more for PvP type, but I think DPS is still fine both. I did not roll for her uniques, which I will, unless I get her 4 reds and just dismantle the epics. I will see what I will do. So I'm saving my rerolls for that. So next up on the list is Saraphina. The only reason why Saraphina is here because she has a unique passive of applying Ignore Shield to all allies for one round. Each round, as long as there's 30 buffs applied. Now this effect is pretty unique and it's pretty useful. She's a very big counter, like the current Foggy 1 and Foggy 2 rules improve the shields, and a lot of people run heroes like Alice, like Amaterasu, which all rely on shielding. So Saraphina has a pretty decent value in the PvP environment, not so much in PvE, although you can use this. There's tons of Lost City chapters where there's a lot of shields and Saraphina will ignore all of them. She's a really niche hero. She's not for everyone. You would have to understand how to use her, but she's really good and she's really important in some scenarios, like you're playing your Eudora Elisha team with Saraphina and you're up against Amaterasu, so you can pretty much ignore all the shields that Amaterasu generates and beat the mirror matchup. You should run dodge, unique dodge runes, don't do healing. Healing is pretty useless on her. This I didn't bother to reroll it back, but yeah, just do unique dodge, that's all. So that would be all for today's video. This was about the legendary heroes priority list for beginners. I will include EVE in a special list because I think they're very easy and very short to do, so it won't be a long video as this one. But yeah, next up is probably EVE tier list, and then the mid-game legendary, and then the mid-game EVE, if that's even important, because there's so little of them that are worthy of legendary runes without being too niche and too specific in certain teams. So yeah, that's about it for this video. It's a bit shorter than I usually do them, but such is the case with legendary runes, I guess. So see you in the next one. Bye.